Hello and welcome to your Pilates class. These classes are all aimed at providing you good form, good instruction so that you can maintain your strength and resistance training sessions in the gym for a very long time. The focus is on good form, so I'm going to be instructing you on that. And we're going to start today in kind of an unconventional shape or place, but I want you to first of all consider the space between your two hip bones, okay? So this space across here, come and have a lie down on your stomach. And when I'm trying to cue or teach somebody about their core activation, it is always starting with this as an idea. So when you're in this shape, just let your forehead rest down onto your hands. And I want you just to draw that band of muscle across the front of your hips, up and away from the floor. Put your weight onto your pubic bone slightly. Try and do that without clenching your buttocks too much. And I want you to see if you could find that activation of your lower abdominals. Keep them scooped and keep breathing. And sometimes this can be quite challenging for people. See how relaxed you could keep your legs and your glutes as you do just that, okay? So just getting that feeling of the lower abdominals, just pulling back and in. This part is vital for everything else that we do. So try to infuse that feeling now into your body, into your mind. There's no pushing of your tummy out toward the floor. You're suctioning it up and in. Okay, so we work with that idea. We keep that. Come now onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, I want you to see if you could create that same sort of feeling of your lower tummy muscles pulling up and in. And lengthen the crown of the head and the tailbone away from one another. Push the floor away. Widen across your chest and collarbones. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, round up. Scoop the belly. Curl and drop the tailbone beneath you. Walk your fingertips back toward your thighs and restack your spine all the way up. Roll the shoulders back and down, and we're going to reverse that. So from here, keep the hips above the knees, scoop the tummy, drop the chin to chest, round the spine, walk the fingertips down the knees without sitting your buttocks back. Try and keep the hips forward. Fingertip walk those hands out, back into quadruped or hands and knees. Look forward and up. Send the tailbone high, pull your mat apart. Keep the tummy scooped. Exhale, round and curl. Scoop. Walk the fingertips back toward the knees. Tuck the tail, press the hips forward. Restack, restack, restack. And we're going to do one more like that just to really warm up. So we're nodding chin forward. Keep the tuck under the tail. Fingertips reach toward the floor without sitting the hips back. A bit of a balance involved here. Walk those hands back out. Pull the mat apart as you shine the chest bone forward and through. Exhale, round up. Scoop the belly. Looking back. Fingertip touch. Walk those fingertips back toward the knees. Restack. This time, when we come down, we're going to stay down. So rolling down again. Imagine you've got a blackberry bush you don't want to rock your bum back into from this shape. Reach for the floor. Nice and hollowed out through the middle. And then let's just pause in this flat back shape. I want you to keep the toes uncurled here. Find this shape where your knees are directly beneath your hips, your hands are beneath the shoulders. Scoop your lower tummy muscles and just hover your knees off the floor. And then tap back down. We hover off and we tap back down. Just keep that going, just to hover. And every time you hover, scoop from here first. That is like kind of putting on your internal safety belt before you go to move. We're not changing the shape of the back. We're kicking that tailbone out. And now we hold this shape here. Hold, breathe. Just hovering, maybe a centimeter, an inch at the most away from the floor. Keep that breath flowing. And then from here, keep the lower tummy scooped, tap the knees down, tuck the toes under, and find an inverted V shape. So nice little warm up just to activate through the deep abdominal muscles. Now we're going to we're going to ripple our way forward. I've just shimmied my hands forward a little. I'm going to round my spine as I lift my heels. I'm going to press my hips forward and come into a full plank shape. You can have knees down here if you wish. Hold here. From here, I'm going to swivel my feet, then my hips, and then my top arm comes up toward the ceiling. Really push out of that support arm. Then I turn my gaze down toward the hand. The hand comes down, the hips rotate, and then I come back to neutral. So we go again. Remember, your knees can be down here. If they are, it will look like this. You'll swivel, your hips will swivel, and you'll come up. Then the gaze turns down toward the hand. The hips will square, and the feet will square. Let's do 2 more to each side. Feet first, hips, looking up or forward, whatever works for your neck alignment. Then turn the gaze, hand comes down, it's not down already. And then we switch again. So trying to keep it as smooth as possible from your transitions. Last one to each side, feet first, then the hips, lift the waist, lift out of the support arm. We're not collapsing through the shoulders. Please listen to the body, take a breath or a breather whenever you need to. And then we come back through the center, tuck the toes if they're not already, and press back into your inverted V. Hold this shape. Breathe wide and deep into the back and the sides of the ribs. Pedal out through the feet if you need to. And from here, we're going to stay in standing. Press the heels toward the floor. Walk your hands back toward the feet. Scoop the belly. And now I'm going to slightly press my hips forward as I re-stack up through my spine. Backbone on top of backbone, rolling the shoulders back and down. I want to keep this positioning of my pelvis. So there's a drop of my tail. I'm not squeezing my glutes overly here. Drop of the tail underneath, pubic bone zipping up. And I'm going to step my right foot forward. You might want something to hold on to, maybe a chair. And then I'm just going to tap my back knee to the floor. Then I'm pushing into the front heel and coming back up. So I want to keep the hips square. I step forward with the opposite foot, tap the knee down, push into that front heel and come up. If that's too much on knees, just find a smaller range. Doesn't have to be massive. The goal is to be able to move through the legs without the pelvis shifting and rotating all over the place. Now we go back to that first side. We step forward. Keep this zip up of that pubic bone to navel. Tap the knee down and lift. Tapping down and lift. You could have hand weights here if you wanted to challenge it. Let's do 6 more. 5, come all the way up. 4, keep that pubic bone zipping up toward the belly button. 2, last one, and hold here, hold, re-tuck, and now little pulses for 10, push into the front heel, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, tuck under, 4, 3, 2, 1, straighten the back leg, bring both hands down either side of the front foot, and you can either be here with that back knee down, or you can be here. I want to see if we can straighten the front leg as much as possible as you fold back, looking back toward the back leg. And in this case, with my front leg, I'm really aiming the hip to the back wall. Keeping the lower abdominals drawn in. Remember that band of muscle across the front of the hips there. Keep that drawn in. Keep that drawn in. And if the knee is down, same deal, but we're just trying to flex the toes back toward you at the same time as you find that hamstring stretch. In whatever version you're at, just listen to the body And know some days you'll want to go deeper and stronger, and some days you might not, and that's perfectly fine. And then we're going to bend into that front knee. I want to make sure the heel is beneath the knee here. I'm going to press into the heel, coming up. And now from here, I'm going to press from that back foot to come forward. So we're coming up, and then we're switching sides. So walk to that back edge of the mat. Find that tuck under of the tail and the zipping up of the pubic bone toward the belly button. Stepping that left foot forward here. Watch that the hips haven't rotated. Square them off to the front edge of the mat. Remember, you can have a chair here if you wish. And once you're in that shape, we're going to bend the back knee, tap it down, and back up. So again, in this shape, we're creating strength, but we're also lengthening through the muscles, depending on whether we're holding our pelvis in neutral or not. If my hip bones are rolling forward and I'm leaning forward, I won't get such a stretch through here. So really pull the pubic bone up, tuck the tail under. And let's do 6 more. And you could have your hand weights if you wanted to challenge that a little more. Keep the weight to the big toe side of the foot. Last one. And now we're here, we hold, and we're pulsing, and we're breathing, and we're pushing into that front heel. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come forward, both hands either side of that front foot. You're either going to straighten that front leg as much as possible, letting the head hang, or let the knee come down. Shimmy that back leg back a little bit, and then find your hamstring stretch from there. Again, looking at building mobility and strength simultaneously. So in this case, I'm lengthening the hip to the back wall without overly twisting my pelvis. The toes are anchored if that back knee is up. Otherwise, if that back knee is down, flex the foot and draw all 5 toes back toward your hip socket. So a couple more breaths here. And from here, we're going to bend forward into that front knee. The knee is above the heel. Remember, the movement is going to be a forward and up, where I sort of propel myself off that back foot. So when you're ready, we scoop with the belly, push into front heel, launching up, and pause at the top. Hold here, refine center. Re-zip that pubic bone up toward the belly button. When you're in neutral pelvis, you guys, if you think of your hip bones with torches on them, you want the torches shining directly forward, not down to the floor, not pointed up toward the ceiling, just directly in front of you here. Lengthen, grow a little bit taller. Breathe here. And from here, we're going to challenge our balance and our mobility into the ankles, the hips, the knees. You'll come down however feels comfy, but this is something that we can all be working on. We're going to reach the arms forward, hover the heels off the mat, and begin to bend at the knees and slowly lower down until you get to as far as you can go. Then you can bring the hands down and come and sit on your buttocks. Otherwise, I reach forward a little, the knees will go a little bit wider, and then as smooth as possible, finding the floor with the buttocks. And then from here, lining the feet and the knees up with your sit bones. So not the widest part of your hips, just the bony part of your buttocks. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, let's round and curl the spine. Again, find that zipping up of the pubic bone, aiming that lower back down toward the floor, rolling all the way down. Circle the arms. and come up. Reach through the fingertips. If you get stuck here, hold behind your thighs and pull yourself up. What I wouldn't want to see is a movement, which I'll often see in class, where someone might pull themselves up, but they tend to go to one side. If you are going to pull, just find center. Just find center. Roll through the center of the back. And if it's okay, we're going to extend the legs. And we're doing 3 more here. Keep the ribs connected. Watch that your back doesn't overly arch off the floor. Using your exhale to curl forward. Inhale, restack, and exhale down. Trying to keep the backs of the legs anchored into the mat the whole time. Actively pulling the kneecap up through the front of thighs if your legs are straight. Last one. So either bent legs or straight. And then we're all going to pause at the top. So from this shape, we're going to come into a wide sit position. Now, you might want to prop yourself up on a block or roll your mat up just to the point where you can feel that you could rock your hip bones forward a little bit. I don't want to see that shape. You want to find a position where your sit bones could be wide and nice and finding neutral basically with the hips. Legs have rotated out, arms are reaching. So I'm going to begin by rotating toward one leg. I'm then going to reach my opposite arm forward towards it and feeling the crown of my head lengthen toward the toes. My back arm is pretty much in the same diagonal line as my leg. And then I'm scooping the belly, I'm restacking, I'm coming back up through center. So we twist first, scoop here, and then reach. Try to shave off that little toe with your fingertips. Anchor into your opposite glute so the hips aren't lifting, and then we restack all the way up. Let's do 3 more to each side. Exhale, twist, scoop, and reach. Inhale, restack. Exhale, twist, scoop, and reach. Tip of the nose down toward the thigh. Inhale up. Keep it going. And with every repetition, feel as though you could twist a little further and reach a little deeper. The inhale brings you up and the exhale twists you and reaches you into that saw stretch. SAW. It might be the other one too, but this is the saw. Anchor into the hips, navel draws back. Inhale up, last one. Exhale, twist, scoop, and reach. And restack. And all the way up. Okay, from here, just shimmy the legs back in. Give them a little roll in and out. Reposition your body now so you're back in line with the mat vertically. We're going to have the elbows beneath us and we're going to push the floor away here. Now, if that feels too much for you, you can do this next exercise all just lying flat on your back. But otherwise, I really want to challenge the opening through the shoulders, that strength through the shoulders. And I want to tuck the tail under. So I'm aiming the lower back toward the floor, floating one bent knee up and then the other. Now keep your knees in close and you'll notice how much easier it is to keep the lower back aimed to the floor. Have the legs hip width apart. Just extend one leg out and then pull it back in. Opposite leg out and then pull it back in. So as the legs are moving, I'm actively pulling my navel down into my spine and keeping the front of my chest open. So I'm not coming to here. I'm still lifted. still lifted out of the shoulders. Go one more to each side, or at least until you are even. And then pause here, hug your knees in. You can come and have a breather lying down on your back for a moment. A little shuffle from side to side. And from here, we're taking it into our knee rolls. So again, you can have your feet on the floor. You can be lying here and doing your knee rolls, or we're staying in this shape. Again, lift out of the shoulders, rock those hip bones back. Bring the legs up into tabletop. Squeeze the knees and ankles together. Travel the knees across to one side. Pause there. Come back through center and across to the opposite side. So as you move the legs from one side to the other, I want you to almost feel like your legs were redundant and that your abdominals were what were pulling your legs back through the center. If you want to challenge this, you'll take the legs across, pause there, extend and kick them out. As you do, pull that navel in deep, come back through center, across to the opposite side. Keep lifting out of the elbows, extend the legs. We're doing 2 more to each side. If you're getting tired through the shoulders, then just come back down, lying flat on your back, and you can keep the legs in tabletop. So look down every now and then, make sure that the tummy muscles aren't pushing out. You really want to suction them in, get that same feeling you got from the start of this session of pulling that band of muscle back into the front of the lower back, I should say. Now, the feet will lower. We're going to press the floor away, open through the legs, and find a forward fold shape. Let the head hang, let the breath be easy. Breathing in to the back and the sides of the ribs. Breathing out, just dropping a little deeper, maybe reaching the fingertips forward. And then re-stacking from here, vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Okay, I want to work into the glutes a little. If you have a couch that you could have your feet up on the top edge of it, it needs to be a solid edge. Let that be the case. Otherwise, feet flat on the floor is fine here too. So I'm going to have heels hip width apart. And the way that I find that is I bring my toes and my heels together. Then I step the toes apart and the heels apart. And that pretty much should get me to where I need them to be. From here, rock your hip bones back. Let your lower back flatten. Watch that the tummy hasn't domed. Drop it back and down. And then we're peeling up, peeling up, peeling up. One vertebrae at a time. Now drop your chin toward your chest slightly. Palms are facing up. Rotate your thigh bones inward. Lift the hips. And then we roll back down. And your buttocks are the very last part of your body to make contact with the floor. I am trying to articulate one vertebrae at a time. We're doing 2 more just like that. So the hips rock back. I have equal weight through both of my heels as I peel up, finding that shape where my knees, hips, and shoulders are in a straight line. Rotate the thigh bones inward slightly, and then roll back down, vertebrae after vertebrae. Last one. Soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. Breathe. Okay, kind of lost track there, but I think that was our last one. Okay, so now once you're down, step the feet just a little closer together. We're not articulating. I want you to lift straight up, tuck your tail under at the top, press into that left heel, float your right knee up. All you're going to do from here is tap your tailbone to the floor and exhale, squeeze into that left glute and come back up. Inhale, tap down. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Just 10. Go up to 7 here. Chest is open. Squeeze into the heel and lift that glute high. Lower down. Smooth switch over. Off we go. If your heel is too far away from your buttock, you'll often find that your hamstring will grip and grab. So if you can have your heel a little bit closer toward your buttock and really focus on the tuck under of the tailbone at the top, you'll find that you can connect into that glute just a little bit more. And then we lower down and we rest. Hug the knees into the chest. Go for a little roll from side to side. Now, hold behind the knees. Start to press your thighs forward against the hands. Nod your chin toward your chest. And you can do a little rock and roll here. You can use a bit of momentum. Otherwise, we're going to press thighs forward into hands and peel up via our assisted roll up, all the way up into standing, or not standing, seated, upright. We are coming up into standing. So however works for you, you can come up. You can try bring those heels a little bit wider beside you, shift your buttocks forward, and then from here, press and drive into the heels to come all the way up into standing. So find the wall, and I would step maybe your foot and a half's distance or thereabouts away from the wall. That's a very general kind of approach. You can play around with this one. You can change it as you need to. But basically, your hips are going to be square and your shoulders. Your standing leg is slightly bent. This is your last wee exercise. I'm going to just have my thumbs resting on my sternum bone. I'm slightly folded forward, not too much though. And I'm going to begin by rotating my shoulders. Then I'm going to rotate at the hip. And then I'm going to come back to center. Now, as I do this, I'm watching that I'm not leaning my body to the side. This should really work into your outer, deep, standing glute. If you feel like you're going to topple forward, or if you don't feel that standing glute really working, well, first of all, if you feel like you're going to topple forward, then you're probably standing too close to the wall. If you can't feel your glute, try kind of coming a little bit closer back toward the wall. Let's do one more here. Shoulders first, torso and leg, and come in and give it a little rub. Okay, opposite side. So grounding down through the support leg, little bend there into that knee, slightly folded forward, thumbs resting on the sternum, and I begin by rotating through my shoulders, then the trunk and the hip rotates and back in. So just checking alignment of the standing leg, that it is, or the foot is in line with the hip. It's not overly turned out or turned in. And remember, we're trying to avoid leaning over to the standing leg side. I like to imagine I've got like suction cups, like those bath mats, those non-slip bath mats under my foot, and I'm really grounding down through that foot. I think we've got one more here. And back in, and rest, and rub, rest and rub. All right, come stand to the back edge of the mat. Find that pelvic tilt shape again. Open through the chest, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're rolling down chin to chest, round through the back. Let those arms dangle toward the floor. And once you're down, I want you to grab a hold of the elbows. You can pedal out through the legs here, feeling the crown of the head and the elbows draw toward the floor.
as you switch from one leg to the other. And you can hang here for as long as you like. Otherwise, straightening both legs to begin with as much as possible. Dangling the hands toward the floor. Let the head go, 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 go. Then we're going to make sure we've got equal weight through both feet, front and back of the feet. And then we're going to drip the tailbone down toward the back of the heels as you soften your knees and restack. Backbone on top of backbone. Opening up through the chest. Welcoming in either your evening or the rest of the day whenever you're watching this. And just bringing in so much gratitude back to yourself for carving this time out, for tuning into your body, for learning more about your body, how it moves, how it operates. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you guys for being here. Please leave a comment, subscribe. If you want to have access to more of these videos, each week I'm adding more and more. And yeah, again, thank you so much for being here. Go well. Mwah.